Hello, sweet souls. This is DTO in the Flow. And today I get to interview Amie Barsky. She is a healthy habits and empowerment coach and creator of the Shift Method. Amie guides her clients in getting over the hump of emotional overwhelm, anxiety, and depression through positive psychology, subconscious reprogramming, and emotional intelligence techniques. She also has an extensive background in yoga, meditation, and breath work. Amie has impacted people globally through her one-on-one sessions, women's workshops, and her online programs. Amie feels honored to guide her clients through their journey, all centered on mindfulness and conscious living so that they can live a life of joy, abundance, and freedom in all areas of their lives. Okay, let's welcome Amie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You are welcome. What a pleasure. What an honor. Well, let's start off with our first question.
Let's do
What's
it.
your background in wellness?
My background in wellness is actually a large modality of yoga, meditation, fitness, moving more into the health in the mental aspects of health and wellness in these past like 5 to 7 years has been my focus. And really getting a handle on my own anxiety and depression and taking charge of my life, which has allowed me now to guide my clients through their decision time of deliberately saying, I am ready to change my life as well.
That's powerful. And when I first interviewed you, we really were in more of the context of you as a yoga instructor. And now you've really evolved into a whole program, as you can see on the screen, Soul in the City. So really excited to hear more about that. But let's jump right to question number 2. So what
Okay.
woke you up to your purpose of guiding people and leading and really creating what you're up to in the world?
I feel that one of the first bells that went off for me in my journey was when my brother passed away. And some stuff's coming up. Okay. Yeah, it was just really eye-opening to say, what am I doing with my life? And what is my purpose? Why am I here? And just questioning that whole what's next, like what happens when we pass away, what happens and to our bodies, what happens to our spirit, what happens to our soul. And with all of that work with just acknowledging all of that and learning more and growing more in my spiritual practice and just understanding, wow, we are not our bodies. We are our souls, our spirits, our light lives inside this vessel that I'm physically in right now, which is beautiful. And it's the temple we get to move around this earth on, but it's not, there's the bigger picture, in my opinion. And with that bigger picture, I said, well, I'd like to make the biggest impact I can. And at that time, I was just really struggling with anxiety and depression. I was in an unhealthy relationship and I was going by society rules like, oh, this is the way you're supposed to live your life. You're supposed to get married. You're supposed to have a job. You're supposed to have XYZ. And so I thought, well, I should do all those things and therefore I'll have my purpose all laid out for me and I'll be happy. And so I did all those things. I did get married. I settled for an okay job and I had the white picket fence of a beautiful home and everything that you thought like would make someone happy. And I wasn't. Yeah. And 5 years later, just really looking into all of that and going, I'm just, this there's gotta be more. There's gotta be more to life than this. And so when I felt that hole in my heart, if you will, and just really just lack of like energy to love the life I was living. And I was like, something's got to give. And so I chose courageously to step away from all of it. I walked away from the unhealthy relationship, the marriage. I walked away from the dead end jobs. I walked away from everything I knew, which was supposed to make me happy. And I said yes to my heart. My heart knew that something else was out there. And so I started that journey. And that was basically what woke me up to saying, okay, I'm ready. Let's dive in and just balls to the walls, learn everything you need to learn, unlearn all the things that I learned that weren't serving me, my limiting beliefs, my low self-esteem, my lack of worthiness in this world. And so when I started doing all of that work, that's when quantum leaps giant shifts started to happen. And that's what helped me really ground myself into committing to the shift method, which is what I work my clients into now. It's basically speaking your truth and speaking up for yourself and sharing your story and healing the trauma that comes around all of that stuff, those stories, and integrating and practicing this new way of life and really filling it up and focusing on this foundation. And then finally just letting the transformation happen and trial and error and tweak it as you go along. So that's why the shift was born for me a few years ago, working with one-on-one clients.
Wow.
Been
We're
very
going to
powerful.
showcase your website right now about the shift method.
Yeah,
So
there it is.
really powerful. Yeah. So as it says, speak your truth, heal your trauma, integrate new mindset, foundation for a new life, trust the process.
Yeah.
Here's a lovely photo of you.
That's me.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about Soul in the City, an out-of-the-box women's empowerment workshop.
So this is my latest and greatest of group effort in impacting this world. So my beautiful soul sister, Cindy, and I teamed up last year, and we created a one-day event that is about bringing women together, creating sisterhood, cultivating this connection, and keeping it. So it's not just like a one and done and you're out. Like we actually have a Facebook group you can get into. You know what I mean? We have a community that you're always involved in. And the idea around it was we as women feel this pressure to have this perfect body, to have this perfect lifestyle. And we are pressured to have it all, the career and the children and the family and this, perfect physical body. And it's a lot of pressure. And so I got tired of yo-yo dieting. She has her beautiful story about her, her fight with weight in regards to like, what is perfect? What does that look like? Too tall, too thin, too fat, too short. It's like, where do we fit in? And the reality is everyone is exactly perfect, and you got to meet yourself where you are. So in this workshop, we gather our women together and we have fun. And that's what I feel that this out of the box experience is about: stepping outside your comfort zone, leaning into your deepest challenges and facing them head on, like really naming it, claiming it, and clearing it out. So when you leave, you're like, holy crap, I feel so light, I feel so energized, and I feel so supported by the other women who have shown up. And of course, you will always have Cindy and I as your gals if you ever need someone to connect with. And that's what I love about it. It's, deep work is work. It's called deep work for a reason. You're going in deep and you're diving in and you're saying, okay, what's going on in here? What's happening? Why am I struggling with yo-yo dieting? Or emotional eating was a big one for me. I would emotionally eat for weeks on end. Ben and Jerry were my date every Friday night. I was like, Ben and Jerry, what are we doing tonight? We're watching, some romantic comedy or whatever it was. And it wasn't healthy. Emotional eating is not a good sign. And it's like, okay, here, I see this. I recognize this. Now I'm ready and willing to do the work. And we make this workshop fun. We make it fun so that it is intense, but light and energetic. And knowing that there's this playfulness, even though we're adults, we really need to tap into that inner child and that playtime, that lightness, that fun, that, walk in the grass, skip on the beach, swing on a swing, do a cartwheel, like that kind of energy. And so we bring that into the workshop as well. And that's just something I would love to show the testimonial videos if that's something we can do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait to share this.
Yeah.
Sounds so wonderful. Here we go.
It's one of those things that almost leaves you speechless because you just feel amazing.
I wanted to connect with women that would understand me as my heart.
I'm not alone, and there are other girls out there that feel similar ways that I feel.
I feel like I got more, and I didn't think that I needed that emotionally.
Biggest takeaway is that I'm not alone, that I'm enough, and if I need to change my body, and it's going to be for me and no one else.
Listening to the girls today, it wasn't like listening to somebody who was 20 years ahead of me, like got past everything.
it gives you the experience to be more empowered and to walk away and be a more courageous woman.
We worked through a lot of things that I didn't really realize were still built down inside.
Doing acro yoga. It's hard for me to let go and like let you in. I think it was really important for me to see that in myself.
The aerobatic exercise when you got to like fly with your partner, that was really fun.
Flying exercise was fun because it
I feel liberated. I'm not alone. I have this amazing group of women to help empower me.
I really like the hugging exercise because I didn't know that I needed that like comfort on the other end of the giving. Like the receiving is really hard for me.
I mean, we just have each other's numbers. Like we're all excited to get to know each other, and I don't get that going down the streets.
And I have so many new friends already, and I'm already going to the Cape with someone on Labor Day.
I have a whole list of friends that I want to talk about this now. Definitely, I was totally tell people to come. I did.
I've already like put all the stories on my Instagram, and I'm telling everybody they need to come with me.
I can't wait to tell my friends about this, especially in the Boston area. I have a lot of friends on the East Coast, so I know that they saw my Instagram today and they were jealous.
A building of sisterhood.
Really just showed me the power of taking a few moments to yourself.
I'm feeling so light and free and empowered.
It was awesome.
Wow. That's fantastic. So amazing. And I'd love to, because you spoken to your business partner, Cindy. So I'd love to share what that team looks like. And I'm on your website. I'm going to share this with everyone to see. So let's go back here. And how long have you and Cindy known each other?
So Cindy and I met about a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
In some regard, it seems like a small amount of time, but yet we were so passionate about creating this that we just dove right in and giving it 1,000% to say, yes, we are here to make a beautiful impact in the world and increase the numbers of women who are lacking confidence. We're ready to boost that number. Right now, 85% of the women in the world lack confidence and self-esteem, and they are afraid to step into their greatness because they're feeling like they're not enough. And we are making a dent in that number, one step at a time.
It's very important. And, that's, many people know that I have a background in being a public school teacher. And I was on a campus where, 70% of the student population was living below poverty. And there was a huge need. They had a wellness center on campus to address all the stress and the anxiety and the problems and, so much happening in the world of any human being on this planet, and specifically with teenagers. And, those kind of numbers, when you hear those, just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the, in the trenches of, public schools where kids, actually I teach currently at an academy, and they said that 10 students dropped out at the beginning of the year due to anxiety because of the pressure and grades, everything.
There's a survey, there's a study out there that girls at the age of 9 are starting to diet. At 9 years old, they haven't hit puberty yet. Why are they thinking about dieting? And there's also another study they did on girls and boys, and feeling like if they're dieting, they feel healthier in their skin, in their own bodies. At a young grade school, we're talking grade school.
Yeah, that's
like, oh my gosh,
tragic.
Yeah, it really is interesting that the culture that we live in here in the States is just so different from many, many, many other cultures. And we put this huge amount of pressure to fit the image of what the magazine is now. And if you look at it, back in the 30s, the 40s, it's always changed. It's forever changing. And so this might be the fad now, but it's not forever. So
absolutely,
be comfortable in your own skin and just love yourself for where you are and create the lifestyle you want that's healthy and attainable more than anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah. My beloved Himalaya told me that when she was growing up, people would make fun of her for her big lips. And then now it's like people pay money to get those. I'm like, well, you're naturally, you're born beautiful, and despite of
people put butt implants in now, to get a bigger butt. And I'm, in Brazil or whatever, but yet in the States, you're like, no, it's so, it's a culture.
I know. It is. It's crazy. So I'm gonna scroll through your website here, and as I speak into this, So Soul in the City is going on tour.
We're on
So
tour.
February,
We'll be
wonderful.
in San Diego this Saturday, February 22nd. I'm so excited. We've got an
Awesome.
incredible space, and we're just super excited to have this in San Diego. This is our third time in San Diego. And then on March 8th, we'll be in Los Angeles, which is where I'm at right now. This is my home right now. And so we'll be in LA. And then we're heading to the East Coast at the end of March for New York and Boston. So we are just and ready to rock it.
That's fantastic. Okay, so the question is, so what makes your programs unique? And I'm sure your website's going to be pretty self-evident for that, right?
It is. I mean, Cindy did a great job with our website. I just feel that I spoke into this a little bit ago about having the fun wrapped around this work. You know, like who really wants to talk about food and feel like it's a restricted thing versus let's talk about food and the freedom around it, like giving yourself the freedom to explore and to see, to appreciate food at another level, to appreciate the body you live in at a whole new level, to clear out some of that stuff and create this unique connection with the other women, recognizing that we're not alone. None of us are alone, yet we isolate ourselves. And when we isolate ourselves, it gets worse. It snowballs. It's something I definitely really struggled with, deep anxiety of just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so alone in the world. Everyone hates me. I don't fit in anywhere. And I would literally curl in a ball and stay there for like weeks at a time. I would just go to work and come back and that's it. I would shut down. And that's how we can actually feed the fire to anxiety. So we want to recognize if you're feeling anxious, what are the signs of anxiety? What are the signs of overwhelm, especially when it comes to body image and food? And how can you catch it ahead of time? It's like catching that cold when you go, oh, there's a tickle in my throat, and like taking care of it right away. It's like not waiting until it festers and festers, then explodes like a volcano, but getting a handle on it now. So you have the tools, you have the techniques, you have the mindset, and you have the community to really get into that going, I can reach out to any of these sisters and say, hey, can we jump on a call right now? I'm just feeling XYZ. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling overwhelmed. And I feel that that's just such a beautiful, unique offering to create this fun environment around this deep transformational work.
That's amazing, powerful. And I see Cindy's bio is right here, as well as your short bio.
Yes.
And says Cindy is a Fortune 500 corporate woman turned certified spiritual life coach.
Yes.
And she has her own podcast, which is fantastic.
Yes. She's a powerhouse. And you know what I really love about our partnership? We are, I think, 15 years apart in age, around that. But yet, again, we're just women doing our best to create incredible lives. So we get to speak into like that younger audience and the audience that can fit my age range. Like, there's no like, oh, this is just for millennials or this is just for women in their 40s. No, it's like it's across the board because we're all really challenged with the same things. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel like the more that we're on this journey together collectively, more people at the root of the core of what we desire and what do we want, what do we crave is connection, love, ease, flow, peace, harmony, self-expression, creativity, right? Adventure. And these are all like commonalities that we have. And for some reason, a lot of times we focus more besides on collaborative possibilities, we think of like competitive, like that person.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I'll speak into this really quickly about the whole Shakira J-Lo at Super Bowl.
Yeah, I saw your IGTV post on that.
There was so much about how they are too sexy, the balance was changing. And I was like, first off, these are successful women, hugely successful women who are not stick thin models, who are not, they're moms, they're artists. They're just feeding their souls of what they love to do. And to shame that, I was so like, oh my God, I was really upset about that. But I said, you know what? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. No one's wrong. But it doesn't mean we can't celebrate each other. We can still collaborate. We can still connect and support, And I'm all about collaboration. I definitely felt like 10 years ago that I was competing against everybody and that it just felt impossible. And as soon as I started collaborating and like really connecting and building that support system, I was like, oh, this is a whole different attitude over here. This feels good.
It's refreshing, right? It's nourishing to the soul.
So refreshing.
Yeah, that's powerful. Well, talking about a lot of, from like pain to gain. You've talked about, how women have anxiety. You gave a statistic around that, so where does inspiration come from is my next question.
Well, I feel that we move from two ways. You either move because you're inspired or you move because you're desperate. So inspiration or desperation. Those are two sides of the pendulum. And usually you're either on one or the other to then finally say yes to yourself. And for me, it was desperation. I was so desperate to change what I knew I didn't want anymore in my life. So I think, stepping into inspiration as I hope that that's what I am set out to do, is to inspire people to really decide deliberately, I am going to change my life and I'm stepping in fully with 1,000% committed. Because if you're not 1,000% committed to it, we play the procrastination game. We play that I'm not enough game. So it's, if I just say, you know what, I'm committed no matter what. I love myself no matter what. And I'm inspired by everyone around me. So building that support system around you, your environment and your people, and really just knowing that you get to inspire someone else with your story when you're committed to yourself. And it's incredible. We had two sisters come to the event, and the other sister was kind of like, oh, I'm just going to go because she's going. And it was just the inspiration from one person to the next that just snowballed. It was really cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I once had on my cover photo on social media, it was like, enthusiasm is like the most priceless energy you could ever create in the world. Like, because once you have that inspiration or enthusiasm, then that creates transformative possibilities for someone to really guide them into this new way of being, right?
And that's like your superhero power. Like that could be your power. Like, what's your power? My power is enthusiasm. I'm enthusiastic about what I'm doing, and therefore you infuse that in someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as you know, like for me as someone that creates music, and I'll quick image of my most recent album is when I create music, it's to touch, move, and inspire people into the possibility of this life and this inner journey as well as the outside. And you and I both know it's an inside job. And the more we brighten that light within, and we feel, I was on my mat this morning with my asana practice, and it just like creates presence, connection, and gratitude. Like, wow, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm present. And, you mentioned you lost your brother, and I lost my father about 2 years ago. And so for me, it's like this freshening of like, okay, he's out of his body and it's just a temporary cycle. And my perspective has shifted around that. And it allows for me to say, well, we have this gift. We're like present, we're alive, we're here. And the possibilities is what you're creating, and what Cindy's doing is really inspiring, because you're choosing to like not be stingy with all these tools and skills that you've acquired over the years, but you're generously like sharing in these programs that women get to attend and really grow. And, and I've witnessed this firsthand because, I'm the marketing director and I'm the musician for Himalaya's program that she has. And I know you've attended her Body Freedom. And so when the sisterhood connects and collaborates, it's just a really powerful way to expand. And as you and I both know, I see it every millisecond of my life, the divine feminine is rising, and it's like exploding into like this whole other way.
Keep rising. As much as us as women are rising, the men need to be rising with us.
Completely.
They really need that. And really just making that conversation open. Like, let's open that can of conversation. So, because I feel like sometimes men these days, they're not sure what to do, because women are just like, you know what I mean? We are rising, but we
totally.
We want you to rise with us. We need you.
It's like, come along.
Rise with us. We need you. So if you need us, we need you. Do you know what I mean? It's necessary for both. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see and feel into. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this polarity that we all have. And, there's, we have our left, right brain. We have, the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, and this planet we're floating around on. And it makes sense that the feminine masculine would, those energies would come and be in unison to like synergize. in
Yeah.
like discovering like, well, what's possible. And what Himalaya says a lot when she's guiding people in like festival yoga flows, she'll be like, I'm not here to say you have to walk in front of me. I'm not going to walk behind you. Let's walk side by side and let's create a community, a tribe. And I feel like so many people are waking up. And this is why one of my questions is what woke you up? And some people are like, I mean, maybe in this interview right now with you, or someone's like, wow, okay, well, what is it that I see as a possibility? What's a vision for my world and my life that I know within my soul is available? I just don't know how to unlock it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I feel my next question leads into. So tell us about your next event. So those women that are listening who want to attend, and then how they can follow you and sign up. And
well, you can
all those
totally
details.
follow me. I'm all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, all of
There you
that.
go. Right there. Just
I'm everywhere. And so just honestly, like send me a message. It's so nice to get personal messages on Instagram or Facebook.
Mhm.
It really is. And yeah, just reach out and open that conversation and let that just unfold. I just feel that, you know, I have one-on-one clients and I have workshops, and whatever you need, we can figure out what that is together. Like I usually jump on a call and I say, let's have a conversation and see if this is a good fit. Let's see if this is a good fit for you for a one-on-one coaching. And then, you know, maybe you're just into the one-day workshop. Great. We've got, you know, Soul in the City is happening. And right now we've got February 22nd, San Diego, LA, March 8th, and we'll be up on the East Coast, Boston, New York, at the end of March. So we're coast to coast right now, and we want to fill all the states in the middle soon enough. But yeah, just honestly, like I'm here, even if you just need a conversation or a chat, like it's really about having the support you need. I've got plethora of tools I can give you, you know, it's just, if I don't know you need it, that's the hardest part. So if you're hearing this right now and you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or uncertain and unfocused in your life, whether it's around food or relationships or career, just hit me up. I'm here for you. Yeah, totally.
Love that.
Conversation.
That's amazing. So here's your website,
Yay.
fullfitmindbody.com. And I noticed on the website, and so if anyone wants to pull that up right now, you'll see that there is a 7-day daily shift to healthy habits kit that you can put your name and email, and Amie will send that over.
Yes.
And that's a great way to connect.
Yeah.
And here's the Instagram DM option to reach out and see if you'd like one-on-one coaching or want to attend one of the events. Soul in the City. And wonderful. Well, I am really inspired by what you're up to. And since our last interview, I feel like there's been all this expansion and growth. And I'm really honored that we're able to reconnect and for you to have this platform to share with all of these manifestations that are happening. And it's 2020. I feel like so many people are like, all right, let's do this. Let's make it happen.
Right? It's zero quantum leaps. That's what I've decided. Like for me, my work here is quality, and I'm looking for quality connections. I'm, you know, really calling in a quality partnership. I'm calling in quality clients, quality experiences, quality health in myself, like really working on how I can be thriving at my ultimate, you know, physical being, so I can get around and do what I need to do to create this impact. And to have this conversation with you, such a blessing. So grateful. Your energy, and I was so glad I got to see you a few months back at Himalaya's event. Like,
yeah, that was awesome. And I know so many people like we get connected in like the digital pixelations, and you know, it's like, I feel like I know this person, but then like, cool, we're in person, we're live.
I get to talk to you in person. Yay! So
lovely.
Thank you for this platform. Thank you for put in, and thank you for your music. It's so beautiful, and
appreciate that.
Just what you do in this world is so powerful, and you know, I'm just so glad that we get to connect and collaborate, even if it's just here right now. And yes,
absolutely. Wonderful. So anyone out there that is interested, go to fullfitmindbody.com, and you can follow Amie at her Instagram or any other, you know, social media platform out there. There's so many these days. And if anything, you can just put a comment in the stream that you're watching this on currently, and Amie will get back to you if you have any questions. And we appreciate you for coming to San Diego. I say we, the community and the tribe, because you're in LA. You know, I was like the LA, San Diego, LA. So yeah. Wonderful. Well, blessings to you, and thank you for your time and energy.
So much. Thank you everyone for watching, and let's stay connected. Much love.